Mike with Mike's Bags. Today I'm reviewing the Jefe by Southwest Bag Company. Now, I did review this bag about a year ago. A lot of you have probably already seen that video. I loved it then. I still love it now. In that year time, I'd like to think I've become a better reviewer. I really hope I have. and there are things that I didn't notice about this bag that I do now, and I thought it was worth revisiting to talk about this bag. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's talk about this Jefe. We'll start with the slow side. This is a hybrid material. It's that material that I've referred to as the clone material from time to time. It's the same slow side you find on the B3 Coyote, the Buffalo Sauce, Swag Bags Kaboom, and their new Tornado coming out, the Sub-Zero Wintertide. It's a wonderful slow side material, touch slower than that Viper R slow side. So this plays about a 5-speed. Quicker when it's new, but once it starts to break in, it slows down that 5, it settles and it stays at that 5. The beauty of these hybrid materials is they play very consistent across all board conditions, weather conditions. So if you play in an area where humidity is an issue, or where you play in all-day events or events that run through the day and into the evening, and you can get conditions that change, a bag like this is wonderful because you can just play that same bag through the whole tournament, as the conditions change, you keep playing it. You don't have to go out and switch bags and try to make adjustments. You can just throw the same bag. So I think that's one of the reasons why these hybrid materials become so popular, is because they do play well and consistent across all those conditions. So 5-speed on the slow side. One thing I'll mention as well that I didn't mention in that first video is Southwest puts a liner in this bag. Now, a lot of companies use a liner. Some companies don't even use a liner with this material at all. You get no liner. And I'm not saying that a bag that doesn't have a liner is not a good bag. And I'm not saying a bag that has a liner is a great bag. Not all liners are the same. And I don't always mention when bags have liners. Sometimes people just put liners in there just to protect the material, just to keep it from stretching or keep it from busting or ripping or whatever like that. But Southwest uses what I would refer to as a liner that improves performance. Something similar to what B3 uses in their bags. They call it a performance liner. True Cornhole uses it in their bags. I think I believe they call it like a drip tech liner or something like that. Swag Bags use it in some of their bags. I've reviewed some other bags that have it. I try to mention whenever I find a bag that has a liner that I think really is a liner that actually improves the performance of the bag, I like to mention it. If a bag has a liner that doesn't, I don't always mention that. But what it is, it's a super slick material in here. And if you pinch the bag, you take a bag and pinch the slow side. If it has that super slick material, when you go to rub it, you feel very little friction, very little resistance. If you get a bag that doesn't have it, when you go to pinch and rub, the materials just stick and they won't move. And what it's doing really is, it does a couple things. One thing it does is it gives the bag a little bit more of a fuller feeling. So you can have a bag that's not quite as full, but it feels full in the hand. So you get the control of a full bag, but you get the forgiveness on the boards of a more looser, floppier, forgiving bag. So it really gives you that best of both worlds between full and floppy. The other thing it does is it really helps the fill and moving inside the bag. So, because if you rub this material, you feel it has some resistance. It's kind of rough. And if you think about the resin inside moving, it will get stuck and hung up in this material and it just doesn't want to move. When you put a really super slick material in here, and this material feels like satin maybe, or like if you're familiar with the Ultra Butter and how smooth and slick that fast side is, that's kind of what this feels like. I'm not saying it's the same material, but it has that really super slick feeling to it. And so by putting it in there, that resin doesn't have to rub against this material. It rubs against a slick material, very little resistance. So when you get it back up there hanging, it encourages the fill to keep moving. So that when that fill's hanging on this edge, if it's stuck in this fabric, it'll just kind of sets there. But if you get it super slick, there's nothing to hold it up and it starts dripping. And as more resin moves, the bag will slowly drip in. Now, is that a huge difference? No, it's a minor difference. And I did a testing a while back. And I know I'm getting sidetracked here. Bear with me here, just for I'll get back to the back here in just a second. But I did a testing through 100 bags, and I think it was like 4 or 5 bags that I felt like really were impacted by that liner. But if you play a 25-round game, you throw 100 bags. And if you have 4 or 5 bags that would normally hang up but go in the hole, that's a 2-point difference per bag. That's 8 to 10 points over the course of a 21-point game. Huge difference. So it's enough to make it worth choosing a bag that has a liner or one that doesn't, but it's not enough to say this bag doesn't have a liner, it's trash, right? I actually think if you're comparing bags and you're trying to say, you know what, I really like both these bags, I don't know what to pick. One has a performance liner and one doesn't. I would go with the bag that has a performance liner. So anyway, love the way that liner plays. I'm always a fan of it. I haven't found anything negative about that liner yet. It seems to do a really wonderful job. It really just makes the bag just 1 or 2% better than some of these other bags out there. The other thing I'll mention is it really seems to help this material hold its shape. It doesn't seem to, because that liner's there, it doesn't seem to stretch as much. Some of these bags that have this material with no liner, they get stretchy, they get loose, get floppy. This seems to help it hold its shape so it doesn't get super loose, super sloppy, super floppy out there. So anyway, 5-speed on the slow side. Getting back to this review now. Fast side is that game changer, surefire fast side. It's like an 8.5 speed. It's great for pushing, collecting, especially if you're trying to push through multiple bags, fast enough to do that. But it still has just a little bit of control that you can flip it over, throw slick side when you need to kind of sneak a bag in, you can still do that. So 8.5 speed on this bag. Template wise, medium template bag. It's a medium amount of fill. So you've got flop. It is not an overly floppy bag. And these bags have been thrown quite a bit and they still don't have a super flop to them. So if you like a fuller feeling bag, I think you're going to like the Jefe, even though it's not crazy full. The flop in here does also give the bag a lot of forgiveness on the landing and around the hole. The fill also it's a mixed fill in here, but I think it's got mostly flat. There's some round fill I found every now and then, but it seems like mostly flat disc in here. And that flat disc really aids in that forgiveness landing as well. So if you don't throw a flat bag, this bag's not going to punish you with a really harsh kick to it. It does have a kick. Most bags do, especially with these hybrid materials or slower materials. If you got a controllable material, you're going to get some kick. Doesn't have a punishing kick. For those of you who've been looking to throw a more of a control style bag, but you don't throw flat, I think you can get away with this Jefe because of that flop it has and this flat disc, the mostly flat disc fill that it has. I think it really does soften up the kick and be a little more forgiving. The other thing I'd say is around the hole, it's enough flop that the bag will grab the hole for you and spin around. Now, I do talk about a lot of times I hate flat fill because, especially that disc, because it wants to hang up in the hole. But I think you add that really performance liner in here, it kind of negates some negativity. It kind of negates that bag wanting to hang up. And I think it really aids in that those discs still wanting to slide and slip into holes. So I really didn't have an issue with the hole firmness of this bag as I sometimes would when I have a bag that has a lot of flat disc in it. The other thing I'd say is if a bag does hang, these bags are very collectible. It doesn't take much at all to come down and clip it and take it in. You don't have to get crazy aggressive. These bags are also ACO stamped, so you play ACO events. You can throw the Jefe. If you're looking for a non-stamped bag, Southwest also makes non-stamped versions of this as well. Let's go ahead and jump in, talk about playability on this, and it's a versatile bag. The beauty of these hybrid materials is the options that it gives you. So if you want to get up there, run bags hole for hole, you can do that with this bag. You can go out there, put 4 bags in, outscore your opponent round and round, and you can do that really well. If you like to play a dirty style game, you can do that with this bag. There's a ton of control. You can put blockers wherever you want. Your level 1, level 2, level 3 blockers up there. You can do that. The bags, the bags are very collectible that I can get aggressive and put a little bit more of a level 3 blocker or a lower blocker, knowing that I've got the speed of the fast side and the collectability to push it and ride the bag up. The bags don't really accordion up that much. So if I do want to get aggressive and put that bag more on the opponent's side, I can do that and then come down the middle and catch it and pull it in. If I go too far over, I have the ability to cut this bag, cut it, grab it, and bring it back in. So the shot shaping is here. Cuts, rolls, flops. If you're average to above average in those skills, you can definitely do it with this. I was able to make some pretty aggressive cuts this bag and really get around. So you definitely have that. So if you're playing an opponent who plays a dirty style game and puts a lot of blockers in your way, you have options to cut, roll, flop, get around that bag. You even have the option if you want to just push through and keep the board clean, you can do that. So you have a ton of options with this bag. It's really a fun bag to have. It's a great bag for blind draws because of the versatility it has. No matter what style of game you and your partner play, if they're different, you can both play that with this bag. So it's really, if you haven't jumped on this hybrid bandwagon yet, you haven't gone out and got yourself a set of bags, I really recommend checking these Jefes out. Phenomenal bags. Love throwing them. I've thrown these quite a bit. You'll start seeing them. You've probably seen them. They popped up quite often in my Thursday what's in my bag videos that I put out. There's still going to be a pretty constant bag pops up there because I love the way this bag plays. And it's great because we do a lot of switches on Thursday nights, always switching up partners. So it's a bag that I can pull out and I don't have to change bags every game. I can throw with multiple different partners. So I really love that bag gives me kind of a little bit of that consistency when I'm playing in blind draws or switches like that. It leads me into availability, and Southwest does most of their business on their Facebook page. So I'll put a link in the description to their Facebook page, as well as there's a fan group you can jump on that'll kind of give you the heads up of new releases, new drops, and when they're coming out. I also put the email address to Southwest Bag Company. For those of you who don't have Facebook, you can shoot them an email if you're looking to purchase a set of bags, and they can get you taken care of there. The bags are like $80, $85 a set. It's kind of where the last few sets have been. They put up there, and that includes shipping. So $80, $85 shipped to you. Phenomenal price, kind of on that low end of prices. Definitely well worth it. I really recommend checking them out because you're getting a high quality bag for that price. It's really tough to beat that. And if you've thrown these, I'd love to hear feedback. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you like, don't like about the bags. Let me know what I got wrong, what I got right in this review. I always love hearing your guys' opinions. I thank you so much for your support, and I thank you for watching.